Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know I wasn't expected to be here today, but I'm being a little inconsistent lately because I am operating from a different space. And I'm also a little sick. I have had like a viral infection and I've been trying to get rid of it. So you may hear me try to clear my throat and all of that stuff here. Um, I wanted to quickly, one moment, let me see here. Okay, I guess you guys can hear me now. I probably should not be on here. I found I haven't talked in a while just because I'm ill. And the illness was slowly leaving, but now I find that as I'm speaking more and I breathe in air, I have to cough. So, and it's not that thing, it's not the C-19 this time. It really is just a viral infection, I was told. So they've given me some antibiotics and some medicine to clear myself. And anyway, I digress. I don't want to talk to you about all that grossity. Um, to those of you who are new, if you could please, get in the comments and communicate with me and let me know what you think. Um, to those of you who are just here because you have come from another channel that keeps sending you here to keep tabs on me, I would rather you leave. I want to just briefly say that I was here um, a while back, a few weeks ago. I had received a Instagram um, asking me some questions about another person on YouTube. Ill intent. They had ill intent. And so they sent their subscribers over here to do things to me and to my channel. And um, it just shows you how evil people are. Those people are evil. I don't even like people like that in my space. So to the lady who came up and was talking with me, I couldn't understand the dialogue. My spirit was like, well, why am I saying this and then that person saying that? It's not linking up. So that means we are not a match. And that means I don't want you here. I'm not a all or nothing vlogger. I don't have to have you on my channel. I just because that person on that other channel is telling her people to come over here and join, I don't want them to join. They are not in my market. Market segmentation is important. That's how businesses make money off of their own market. So, like the person who's here now is not here as a subscriber. They are here to do harm to me. That's what Satan does. Satan shows up to do harm to you. So that person is Satan. And, you know, they will not be in the kingdom. None of that stuff will be in the kingdom of God. It will not be there. So I digress. I have a lot of thoughts this morning, but I don't have a lot of time. I wanted to even address the Oscars with Will Smith real quickly. I'm going to come back on when I'm feeling a little better and talk about it in depth. I just know that initially, when I saw Will, let me just say, my kids love Will Smith. They grew up watching Prince. They love his music. They like his movies. And so I like him as a result. Now, he's older than my kids, but he's younger than me. So I like the example that he has set in, as a thespian, um, someone who was actually quite smart in school. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that Will Smith actually was accepted into Harvard and attended Harvard and then left for his acting career. I could be mistaken. I think I read that somewhere. I'm not sure. Um, Also, you guys, I have a friend that I went to college with who actually went to acting school with Jada Pinkett Smith right here at the North Carolina School of Arts in Winston-Salem years ago, actually decades ago. So she knows Jada Pinkett Smith. I don't know Jada Pinkett Smith. She does because they were in school together. I don't know if they converse a lot. I know that she went away and did some of her career, a lot of it in Europe, in London, and Jada was just stayed here in the US. I don't know if they lost touch, or what have you, because I've kind of lost touch with her. But I remember seeing her at our college reunion a few years ago, and we talked about it. But anyway, um, just to give you that little bit of information, I come on here because I like to express my thoughts about the shows that I watch, like Love and Marriage Huntsville, which is what I'm gonna be talking about today. But when I saw Will, um, doing what he did, at first I thought it was a joke, you guys, because he kind of had a smirk when he turned around and came off the stage. So at first I thought, "Okay, they're gonna tell us this is a joke." And as time went on, I learned that it wasn't a joke, and I started watching the clips over and over again, trying to see, okay, what happened. And, what Will did was he lost control. And when you reach a certain point in your life, you cannot start to use um, different excuses like mental illness and things like that for losing control. Because self control is about you knowing that you have an issue and taking control of that issue. So he knew he was angry. So he needs a way to handle his anger when he's feeling that thing that he was feeling in the audience before he went up to slap Chris Rock, when he's feeling that, he needs to come up with a way that hinders him from making that huge mistake because it's about to cost him his career. And I want to just backtrack a little bit because remember when Denzel Washington won the Oscar for Best Actor? That night that Denzel won, Will was also aligned with him in competition to receive an award, and I think it was for Muhammad Ali. Will, while they were announcing that Denzel won the award, as they were announcing it, gets up out of his seat and leaves the Oscars. Instead of sitting there and being happy and dignified for another one of his colleagues in the industry and clapping for Denzel as Denzel wins. Will gets up when they say Denzel's name, gets up, and the camera showed him getting up, and he leaves his seat. And then the cameras pan back to his seat being empty as Denzel is giving his acceptance speech. So he didn't even have the dignity that year, which was years ago. So when we fast forward to today, it appears that he has not really dealt with whatever causes him to react in those ways. Um, I want to fast forward with that because I'm only going to take about 20 minutes to go over Love and Marriage Huntsville. Um, but I want to fast forward with the Will Smith issue and say that it was wrong what he did to Chris Rock. There are a lot of people on YouTube who are in agreement with it and in agreement with the violence. When you hear people who are in agreement with the violence, that means that those people have been violent in their life. They have either a violent past or they've been violent or just what have you. I'm not violent. I do get upset. I do say four-letter words. I do get upset. I'm trying to repent of that, but I have something going on in my life right now that has angered me, so I'm using a lot of four-letter words lately. Um, but this morning I prayed as usual and read my Bible and, because I need to have a different kind of day in spite of what is going on. Um, because it's about to be resolved, but it's just not working quick enough for me. Um, I digress and get back into the whale thing. Um, he needs a way to calm himself down when he gets that feeling that makes him think that he's about to get up and attack someone. And he probably, I know he's been doing a lot in his life, like for his weight and his cognitive thinking and all of that. I know he's been doing a lot. He probably needs to add some form of meditation to that, biblical meditation, something that counts, not just anything, but something that will give him leverage in his life. And normally with meditation, biblical meditation is something that gives us leverage because we know that it exists and that it's real. Um, but Chris Rock didn't deserve to have that done to him, in spite of people saying, okay, he's been putting black women down, he's been doing all these things. He still did not need to have that done to him that night on that stage in that way, and to have people remember him and be talking about this. We don't even know who the other winners were. So the Oscars is talking about how they're going to handle this in the next 18 or 19 days, around April 18th or April 19th. And this is what I think at this point. He should not have his Oscar taken away from him. He earned that. He's worked very hard for it. It would not be fair. If that's the case, you need to take away a lot of other Oscars. A lot. And let's start with the one that you gave to John Wayne, who, if my grandparents knew he was a racist, they would not have been watching Gunsmoke and all those shows that he starred in. Um, he, I think that they need to give him, just suspend him from the Oscars, from the invites for the next 5 years. And over that 5-year period, have him show for some kind of anger management, or have him write to them to let them know how he plans to handle that going forward after the 5 years. But I think that 5 years is a good time for him not to be invited back. They shouldn't take his Oscar away from him. He should still get that recognition and that honor. And I also think they should force him to do a press conference wherein he apologizes to the world, because it was reported around the world what he had done. So I know he's been on social media apologizing. He's sent apologies through to his PR people, but I don't believe in an insincere apology. I think that if they force him to apologize to Chris, it will not be sincere. Okay. I do want them to have him at least give a press conference and talk about the issue in a way that is honest, and in a way how he plans to handle it, even if he does not apologize. So I digress with that. I just wanted to say that. Before I get into Love and Marriage Huntsville, I'm going to do this real quickly here, okay? Okay, I'm back. Thank you guys for coming over to Vlog Media Breeze. And I named this, as you can see, Marso-Deceptive, because the last one was like Marso Messy. So I'm doing this one Marso-Deceptive. I thought it was going to end where I thought it was going to begin where it ended in the last episode, where Maurice and Kimmy were confronting Marceau, and Tisha at Micah's house. Micah is Maurice's and Marceau's brother, and his wife Davida was there. And remember, she was making those faces like, "Okay, yeah, right, yeah." She knows Marceau is full of crap. She knows it. So I thought it was going to end there, because Maurice says something real pivotal at the end of that episode. Whenever they were having their disagreement, he said, "There's so much stuff that I don't know that I," he said, "There's so much stuff that I don't say that I do know about this situation. And I really wanted them to pick up there because I wanted them to show Marceau's nonverbals and his verbals relative to that statement. I wanted to see the expressions on his face, and I wanted to hear what he had to say after that. But oftentimes, Carlos King doesn't do that. And that's what I don't like about Carlos King. Remember, I love him, I like him, okay? But the one thing, his one downfall is remember last season, at the end of that season, they all the way through the episodes, they kept showing upcoming events of what was going to be happening. And one of the events is an ambulance pulls up while Mel is hosting her event for her video. Something goes wrong, something goes awry. They never ever showed that scene. We don't know even now, why was the ambulance there? What happened at Mel's event? So the same thing for this season, season 4. Is what the season that we're in. This is season 4, and this is episode 2. The last episode, they were showing Maurice and Kimmy confronting Marso about the post that he had made when they went to Atlanta and they were with the linebackers and coleslaw. And at the conversation, whenever Maurice says, "There's so much stuff that I don't say that I do know about this situation," that's how it ended. But it didn't pick up there. So I would like for Carlos to stop doing that, please. We want to see how that culminates. So the scene goes into this, and I hate to talk about this because Martell is really he's really on my last nerve for real. He's at his photo shoot and he needs baby oil. He says, "I'm trying to do a sexy shoot, all right?" That's what he says to Destiny when he calls her to get, you know, the baby oil. So I just do not agree with the other women who watch the show, like the other viewers of the show and other YouTubers who talk about the show when it comes to Martell. They think that he is just very, very attractive. And I'm not saying he's not. But even if I were in his age group, he just would not be someone that I would be attracted to. So I just don't agree with that. And this thing, he has someone there named Melnika that he went to high school with. He's known her for 20 years, so she's his new manager. If you have good friends, good old friends that you know when you're in an industry where you need to have people you trust around you, sometimes it's good to reach back and sometimes it's not. Sometimes you don't really know those people like you thought you knew them in high school and they're grown people now, so there are some changes there. So I hope that that works out. Um, he doesn't seem to be too comfortable with men. Martell doesn't seem to be comfortable with men, and that may have something to do with the lack of his father in the household. Um, but Melnika, who happens to have the uh, like the same, what do you call it? I can't even think of the name. I can't even think of it, but her name is Mel. The beginning of her name is Mel, just like the other Mel is. Um, One thing about Martell is he does know how to dress, you guys. In his confessional, that confessional was everything. It was everything. So Destiny walks in. He, of course, calls her to bring the baby oil. And she walks in her blue faux fur. And I'm like, was it that cold outside in Alabama? Who walks around in Alabama like that? In Huntsville, okay? Uh, and they start talking. She gives them the baby oil. They start talking. And of course, they start talking about Mel. He always has to bring up something negative about Melody. Destiny starts to tell him about LA because remember, she and Tisha were in the room beside Mel. Mel overheard them. And if you've been in a hotel room before, some hotel rooms, the walls are thin. You don't have to have your ear up against the wall to hear what people are saying sometimes. Sometimes you can catch little epithets. And so I think that's what was going on with Mel. I don't think Mel is so interested in Tisha and Destiny that she wanted to hear their conversation. I think she overheard them, and I think they might have even known that her room was next to theirs, and they may have been doing that intentionally. And so so Destiny is telling him about Mel, and he goes, "Well, you know, if Tisha is her enemy, you're her enemy too." Um, he says Mel is a yes person. Mel is not a yes person. That was his way of taking a dig at Mel. And I'm just looking at them preparing him for this photo shoot. I think that men who do these photo shoots, you guys, my commentary on that or my reaction to it is they are normally without a father, like Martell. Without They were raised in a household without a father, and they are malely insecure. That's a word I created, malely, Malely. Okay, they are insecure. It just doesn't look. It's so unbecoming a man to be doing a photo shoot like that, where you have to show yourself and do that. And I don't like it when women do it. Okay, I don't like it when women do it. But at least with women, I don't know. Just with him doing that, it makes him look even more desperate than women who do it. So I digress on that. Next, Mel visits Stormy's manufacturing location where Stormy has hair products. I love this conversation between two businesswomen, two Black American businesswomen talking about business. And um, Stormy gives her some really good advice, especially surrounding the pandemic, because we see that Mel took that advice. Instead of her opening up a location where her products will be produced, she's going to sell them online. She's going full e-commerce, which is a good idea for the pandemic. So that was a really great conversation. Stormy gave her really great businesswoman advice. And then they go into, of course, the pit of the conversation, which is Stormy has to ask her, um, "You don't remember giving fellatio? You don't remember?" And you guys, if you saw my last video on this the other week after the first episode, I do not believe that Mel did give fellatio, and I don't believe that she received it. I believe she was talking to a man to keep her company. She had his ear. She needed something there because she was in pain. It's a painful thing, when you're married to someone and they cheat on you. That is a painful process. So I think she needed someone there, and she used him for that. And as a result, she ended up making her husband, sending him some kind of tape conversation or something, letting him know, "Look, I've been doing it too." And I really don't think she was. I think she was trying to make him jealous. Mel is the kind of woman who doesn't have men going in and out of her like that. She doesn't. I know the type. She does, but she will say something to make you jealous. She, she loved him. She was in love with her husband, you guys. I mean, so if you're a woman, think about that for a moment. And he is the most disrespectful. Oh goodness, I can't take him. He's disrespectful, and he doesn't acknowledge his wrongs. He's pathetic, you guys, for real. Martell's pathetic. Um, so Mel invites Stormy to her PJ party, and they talk about that. She lets her know she's not going to invite Destiny and Tisha. And Stormy is taken aback by the fact that she's not going to invite Destiny. And while she's letting her know that she's trying to get her to explain why she's not inviting Destiny, so Mel explains it to her about what happened in LA. Whenever she overheard Destiny and Tisha talking about her, and then fast forward in the conversation, Stormy lets Mel know that she's not feeling Tiffany too much. She thinks that Tiffany has no class, really. That's what Stormy is basically saying, is that Tiffany is a woman who has no class, she has no grace and no dignity. And she's not a woman that Stormy wants in her company because she doesn't know how to communicate. Women like Stormy, who are on that level, have been in different atmospheres to that point. Okay. And so she's used to being in sophisticated conversations where women have, you know an enormous amount of respect for themselves and for each other. And she really sees Tiffany as trash, basically, without saying it, you guys. She sees her as trash, and I do too. I don't care for Tiffany at all. Um, so let's fast forward because this is the part, you guys. Tisha and Tisha and Marceau are sitting there. They're going to meet with her mama about her mama's food truck. And, Wanda, I'm trying to like Wanda. I really am. I'm trying to. I'm trying, you guys. But you know what it is for me? For me, it's the phonetics of it all. It's the syllables or lack of syllables of it all. It's the unconjugated sentences. And most of the time you would say conjugated, but hers are so unconjugated that I have to say unconjugated sentences of it all. It's the inability to have a decent dialogue wherein people even understand what you're saying halfway through the conversation. That's what it is for me. That's what it is for me. I don't even understand why Mel's mother, Van, makes any attempt. It is very clear and obvious. Van is on a completely different level than Wanda. So I don't know why she keeps thinking that she's going to get Wanda to understand her and vice versa. I, that has to be the show. That's the show putting Van into that. That's the show saying, go over here, have this conversation to Miss Wanda. Because I'm going to tell you, women like Van do not go in spaces with women like Wanda. And I know that for a fact. They don't. I digress. But Marceau, nonetheless, is there with her. She walks in. Um, they're talking about her food truck that they are going to be investing in. While they're talking about that, Miss Wanda says, ask Marceau if it's true that he has an apartment with Martell. Marceau pretty much tells Wanda he doesn't F with Martell on a one-on-one basis. He's like, "I don't F with that dude on a one-on-one basis. We have never been in a space in one-on-one. It's always someone else around, because when I go out and I'm, hanging out with my guys, I'm having me a drink and he doesn't drink. What are we gonna do? Go to Applebee's?" It's like so Marceau laughs at Tisha in their confessional when she says, "I'm gonna have to have you stop talking about my mama." He really thinks his wife is a joke, you guys. He does not take her seriously, which is why he does not respect her. He doesn't. Remember the first reunion they had, and Tisha was having a disagreement with Martell and Mel about whether or not she had been talking about them or something. And she was trying to get support from Marceau. Marceau was not giving her support. In fact, he basically started yelling at her a little bit on stage. And she goes to the back and she's crying. Maurice goes back to the back to talk to her and she's really crying. And she says, "I really don't understand Marceau right now. I really am not believing Marceau right now." And she was in tears. So he has no respect for her. He doesn't support her. He doesn't take her seriously. If she doesn't leave him, you guys, if she does not leave him, this is going to turn into something really mentally bad for her. Um, and stop complimenting Marcel, you guys, if you're other YouTubers on here. I hear other YouTubers trying to compliment him while at the same time trying to lift him up. I mean, trying to lift him up at the same time trying to disagree with his tactics. At any rate, he doesn't ever answer the question, and he goes into his confessional and he explains why he doesn't answer the question. One moment. Okay, you guys. Thank you. I don't know if you caught me from the beginning, you'll know I've been a little sick. I gotta get through this really quickly. Hold on one moment. Okay. Okay, thank you guys for waiting for me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get through this really quickly. I only have 2 more, scenes to cover, and I'm gonna be done because I'm not as well as I thought I was. Um, so he in his confessional, he says that, he's not transparent, so he would never tell a secret to Wanda, and if he did have a secret, what makes her think that he would tell her, okay? Um, so there's that. I just think Tisha is desperate, you know, I do, and at this point, she even, um she has the audacity to say at this point, it's just laughable. Tisha, the only thing that is laughable at is and I can't even say laughable at you because I feel bad. I feel bad that you've gotten yourself involved in a marriage, and the marriage is really dishonoring you as a woman. So let's move on. Next, we have Kimmy and Maurice. They visit Jalen in his new townhome. Jalen is definitely a brand new bachelor out of college, but most of the time, young men his age, especially young black men, are not able to buy a home right out of college. That's something we need to teach our kids. When you graduate college, you know that's one of the goals you need. Instead of getting out renting an apartment, no, get out, be prepared credit wise to get a home because that's what Kimmy's really prepared Jalen. And so he's in his townhome, but you can tell he's a bachelor because the place, it's kind of, spotty. Okay. It's a cute place, but it's spotty. The good thing is when he leaves that to get his standalone home, he'll be able to probably rent that out, even to college students and make a, good rental dime off of that. Um, Jalen is looking out for his mom in this one. He's making sure she's okay. Because he asked them the question, really. He was very dignified and poignant as he led up to the question that he wanted to know, and that is, "Are you all right? Are you all okay? Are you really cheating on my mom?" He's making sure his mom he loves his mama, honey. He's making sure she's taken care of. And Kimmy keeps looking at Maurice for answers. Well, Kimmy, Maurice didn't really give you any answers, so why are you looking at him to give him answers for Jalen? I tell you, this Scots, honey, these Scott men are something else. Um, we also can see you guys, just as a side note, Jalen's loyalty to his fraternity, Omega Psi Phi. I tell you, every time this show comes on, he has on some of their accessories. Uh, but you could tell that this was a tough conversation for Kimmy to have with her son. She needs to she needs to really get it together, make and let put her foot down to Marie down because you all were together even though you weren't married, you were together when he cheated. But I do understand you're married now, you can't go and divorce him about something that happened in 2015. I mean, I do agree with you on that. um they start to say, and Maurice uses the excuse, well, you can't believe everything that you hear on social media because social media says that uh Jalen and Destiny are dating. Word to the wise, Kimmy, you need to steer Jalen away from women like Destiny. For real. Next thing you know, she'll be pregnant by him, trying to take him to court for child support, whatever. Really, steer him away from Destiny. Don't even stick it in. Don't even get stuck in there, Jalen. Move on, honey. She already got issues. The rumor on the curb is what I told you guys last year. Remember last year, my video, I told you I think she's the one who cheated. And maybe that he thought that baby was not his. Yes. And I think maybe perhaps it's turned out that it is his because the baby does favor him. Um, so maybe as it turns out, it is his, but for him to have to even think that woman that he was married to had cheated on him. Men, some countrymen, Southern black men don't handle that well. I mean, Northern black men may do well with that. Southern black men don't do well with that cheatery thing when it comes to black women, you guys. But let me move on next, okay? Mel's PJ party. I loved the gorgeous decor of her PJ party. That was a beautiful looking PJ party. Mel is a classy woman. I love Mel. Mel is I just really like her as a young woman. She is a perfect example for other black women, and I hope that if you have your young daughters at home that and they're watching the show with you, especially if they're in college and watching the show, that you're talking to them about how great she is doing, and even talking to them about how she really had to overcome a lot of pain even to get to where she is now. Because I'm sure she's that in terms of the pain, I'm sure she's not completely even out of the woodwork, you know? I'm sure there are some memories that sometimes pop up. You know, there are things that she sometimes goes through that causes her to reminisce, and then she comes to the reality that he's a pig and she's glad he's gone. But still, that was a part of her life. So look how she has come through it. This is Mel is a good example for you, even if you as a mom think you're not a good example. This is a person that you can introduce your daughter to on television while she's in the later years of high school and college. I think it's okay for that. Um, she says that she wanted to make sure that they had their PJs matched, so they had black PJs. And I don't know if you noticed, but the shoes even matched. I said, "Okay, Mel." The shoes. My issue in this party is Kiki. Okay, and I know Kiki and Mel knew each other before Mel knew Tisha, because you know that Mel met Tisha and Marso through Martell. Martell knew Tisha and Marso first. So Tisha's really never been a friend to Mel. She was a friend by way of Mel's marriage. So please stop acting like Mel is doing something wrong to Tisha. Tisha probably never liked Mel from the beginning. Tisha's jealous of Mel. I want to be real clear about that. The jealousy is so bad, I don't even know if she can get it cleaned out. But she needs to clean it out before Christ's return, because none of that will be in the kingdom of God either. And I like Tish. I think she's beautiful. Listen, I think she's gorgeous. But my thing is with Kiki, because Kiki and Kimmy are not friends. Yet we see Kiki um asking Kimmy information about her marriage. Well, let me back up a little bit. A lot of people think that Kiki showed up to spite Tisha. And that's not what happened at all, because remember, she asked Kimmy, "Where's the other Mrs. Scott?" So when she showed up there, she expected to see Tisha. So that tells me that there was no spite against Tisha in Kiki showing up. Okay. Um, but my reaction to Kimmy is that, this is definitely a reality show, because I would never discuss my marriage with someone I don't know as a friend. And while Kimmy may know Kiki, they're not close friends. So Kiki really didn't need to be in Kimmy's private marital business like that. And it would have been perfectly fine if Kimmy had told Kiki, "Well, I'm not comfortable talking with you about that because I don't really know you that well." You know? Um, Also, they start talking about Tiffany. They go to the couch, and when they're talking about Tiffany, um, Tiffany mentions to them, she starts talking to, actually, Tiffany and Mel have a conversation, because remember at the reunion, Mel said that Tiffany had been fired from, um, what do you call it, the chamber. And Tiffany lets them know she hasn't been at the chamber in years. So, but that's how they were introduced to her. That's how Mel introduced to her. Um, Stormy comes over, they're talking, she's eating. She already doesn't like Tiffany, so I don't know why she sat down right beside her. That was kind of inappropriate. You know you don't care about this woman, so why are you sitting right beside her and then you're chopping in her ear? the producers, if they sent you, they should have had another chair there for you to sit in. Um, but the comment that Tiffany made, I didn't understand why everybody was so offended because she says, "I haven't worked for the the chamber in so long, and talking to me about that now is like talking to me about something that I did when I was like 12." Anyway, I digress. That was the end of the show. I can't really talk much more. I'm just like my throat is really bothering me. I was going to have you guys come up and have a conversation. I think I will do that next time. But until then, I will be back on later this week because I have some news events that I want to talk about, including the Oscars, and including some things that Stormy has been putting out there lately. And also, I want to talk about where is it at here? See if I can find it real quickly because I did write it down. Um, oh, the Vivica and Carson Daly hosting the Wendy Williams show. You guys be prepared to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that. That'll probably be this Saturday. And then I'm going to cover the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I'm going to catch up with that because I have a lot of thoughts about that that I want to give you my reaction to. Um, I'm just not feeling good. My throat is really very disgusting. It's inflamed with everything and it's bothering me. And thank you for coming on. Get in the comments. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and click the notifications bell. Even though I've noticed that Google has grayed out my notifications bell, so no one's getting my notifications. That's their way of keeping the algorithm out of the way. Google is Satan. Google is the devil. And I know that one of you here now represents them in StreamYard. You're going to prison. You've hacked my computer. You've exposed my information online. I got an email from someone um, that I'm friends with on YouTube. And so you need to know we're on to you. I'm having an issue right now, um, trying to get it through quickly. But StreamYard and Google, someone's going to jail. And also cups of conversations. Okay? So you're going to prison. You hacked my computer. You didn't just dox me. You hacked me and you stole my information. And you have information that people should not have on me, not even you. People like you will not be in the kingdom. You are the devil. The Bible talks about people like you all the time. All of the time. I digress. Be blessed.